Hello everybody, and thank you for tuning in to the weekly report. Why Americans no longer trust the Biden administration. For libertarians and even many non-libertarians, it's not shocking to discover that a U.S. administration lies and deceives the electorate. For government on all levels, lying to the American people is as American as apple pie. Sometimes the liars are held to account for their deception, but most often they are not. Watching these early months of the Biden administration, it's hard not to think that lying, deceiving, and manipulation is rising to a whole new level. Take ending the endless war in Afghanistan. President Biden was cheered for achieving what even Donald Trump could not deliver: an end to the pointless 20-year and several trillion-dollar war in Afghanistan. By the 20th anniversary of 9/11, we were told the war would be over. The only people furious about this decision were the bomb makers at Raytheon and the rest of the military-industrial complex, and the laptop warriors in the Beltway think tanks. It turns out they really didn't need to worry. The U.S. is not finally leaving the Afghan people alone to run their country as they see fit. Just this week, General Frank McKenzie, head of the U.S. Central Command, announced that the U.S. is increasing, not ending, its airstrikes on Afghanistan. The U.S. would be pulling regular military troops out of the country, though likely keeping CIA, special forces, and mercenaries on the ground, but it would continue to bomb Afghanistan using over-the-horizon facilities from the Persian Gulf. I'm sure that makes Afghan victims of U.S. bombs feel much better. Then, last week, Biden announced an end to the U.S. combat mission in Iraq by the end of the year. While we've heard that line before, it still seems like good news. However, as usual, the devil was in the details. While the mission was over, the U.S. troops would remain in the country in an advisory capacity. This is despite the fact that the Iraqi parliament formally requested last year that U.S. troops leave the country. Biden has bombed anti-ISIS militias supported by the Iraqi government twice this year so far. The 900 U.S. troops illegally occupying Syrian territory would also remain in the country, the Biden administration announced last week. Also, just over a week ago, President Biden told us that if we got the vaccine, we would not get COVID. Then, a few days later, his own CDC released data from a Massachusetts study showing that 78% of the people who caught COVID were fully vaccinated. Is it any wonder Americans have lost all faith in the science as it pours forth from the politicized scientists in charge of U.S. policy in public health? The U.S. mainstream media has morphed into a de facto arm of the Biden administration, however, covering up all of these lies and word games and holding precisely no one in government accountable. So much for a free media acting as a check on government power. In fact, any enemy country overseas with such a subservient press would be targeted for a State Department color revolution. Government lies, we understand that. It is the nature of politics and power. In the absence of independent institutions, such lies become indistinguishable from facts, and soon, freedom itself becomes slavery, as Orwell wrote. Let's hope more of America wakes up soon. Thanks for listening.